from the F3 Nation podcast studio. This is the COT podcast, connecting the packs of F3 Nation through fitness, fellowship, and faith. Here, the men of F3 gather each week to share stories, celebrate wins, and lock shields for the hard work ahead. F3 is more than free workouts at Dark 30. It's about leadership, accountability, and changing the lives of men and the communities they serve. Each episode, we bring you the latest news from the nation, lessons learned in the gloom, and the voices of the packs making an impact. So circle up. The COT podcast starts right now.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Welcome back to the Circle of Trust podcast. Today is a Thursday, April 21st, coming in a little day early due to some scheduling things, but then I got a big day tomorrow. News of the nation. Again, State of the Nation. Not a lot has been going on since then because that was such a huge push. Check the State of the Nation speech out. Double speed it, guys. You don't have to listen to an hour. Double speed it. Figure that out. Around the nation, we got Hey Hey. Hey Hey is gearing up for that Kilimanjaro challenge. Check that out on the Nation Slack or check out myimpossible.org if you're compelled to kind of support him through that mission. Did a podcast with him a couple weeks ago. Check out his story. Lube reminded me that he's got his covering house, not his, but the F3 Nation's got a bit of a covering house. I think he's got 27 events across the nation going to combat human trafficking and support those organizations out there that are doing the real work. And we're just here to help him. He reminded me that did a podcast with Lube a while back. You can check that out for more information. And he reminded me that there's a clean water project going on for over in Kenya that a lot of F3 guys are supporting. And of course, the big news for the month of September, the Iron Packs Challenge. So I've signed up. We're going to do it. I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to like it. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be fun. I tell myself that. So make sure you sign up for that and get your region involved and jump on that Twitter and go join the F3 aluminum packs in his disdain for all things iron packs, and I'm gonna jump on. We just have fun. Let's just have fun this year with it, and watch that leaderboard come out and see who's on top of it. We're gonna judge. We're gonna judge you if you're the top of the leaderboard. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. You better
have videos.
you better Proctor. Want to give a shout out to Mud Gear. We're not gonna talk about socks. That's the Whetstone's job. But man, get that winter outfit rolling. I just want to, part of the behind the scenes thing is the branding process and seeing the logos come in. Man, there's just some really cool designs going out there. I just picked up my favorite, that's because I love me some me. St. Louis, the Huck.
Okay.
And Power Clean. I'm guessing you've been there.
I have been there. That logo is, they bear crawl that garage the whole way. So they
I may never go there.
About a quarter mile away. They run to the parking garage, and then they start at the bottom floor and go to the top floor, and they bear crawl the whole thing. It's a challenge.
Check those pre-orders out. Get you some winter guard that I'll put out some guidelines for temperatures, and we'll make sure to increase those Jacksonville boys. We got the Anvil big event happening, and I just want y'all to notice, you mess up, you call something St. Louis one time on a podcast, the boss shows up the next week and says, "I'm cleaning this up. We ain't doing that again." So who's put? We'll talk about that in just a second. And then we're gonna talk about sectors here now. Let's see. So guest this week, Power Clean. You guys know him he's on the SLT. I'm really excited to get another SLT member on here. It is a little different working on the nation's SLT as some of the other positions you can get in F3. But Power Clean, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them who you are and what you do for the nation.
Hey, thanks so much, Huck. I am Power Clean. I've been in St. Louis, Jeffco area for 5 years. Next month, middle of Iron Packs is my 5-year anniversary. And actually, the reason I joined F3 happened tomorrow for 5 years ago for me. And if we want to get into that, we can, but we don't have to. But the point being is I was Nantan. I was growth Q for Jeffco when we launched Jeffco from St. Louis. I was a site Q. And until I appointed Magoo, I think I was the fastest FNG to site Q. I think it was 5 days. So Thanks, Rhonda, former Sector Q and former Nantan St. Louis area. But yeah, St. Louis, incredible growth. Been a part of most of it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, Circle of Trust podcast, baby. You said let's talk about it. Tell us about what happened 5 years ago.
Couple things. One is Lube, who you mentioned earlier, is my cousin, and he'll say by marriage. So there's no blood. He's not my blood cousin, but he aged me into F3 because he had been doing it for about 6 months at the time, and it came at the perfect time. My father passed away 5 years ago tomorrow, and I was at the lowest of my lows. And my wife will tell you that. In fact, that leads us into the Anvil, what the purpose of the Anvil is. But so he happened to call me on a Saturday, and I showed up on a Monday, and we launched a site that day, a site the next day, and I was the site Q of the second site by that Friday. And I've never looked back. It's been the best decision I ever made, just to say yes. Obviously, there's some other decisions, becoming a Christian and, all the other decisions, obviously. But for my physical health at my age, at that time, saying yes was the most important thing that I ever did.
Okay, let's stick with the Anvil for just a second. Tell us about this event. What's going to happen? We'll put it on Facebook Live. I know Boise has Convergence. I might jump on there for just a second. But again, if you have an event out there that we can share, man, we'd love to highlight these things. Power Clean, tell me about the Anvil.
So this is the second iteration of the Anvil. We did it last year for a couple reasons. One, I had asked, when I was the Nantan, I had asked Serge to be our CSOP Q. And if you want to have something amazing, ask a very detail-oriented engineer to do it, and he will make it happen. But 2 days after I asked him to be CSOP Q, he pulled me aside at a workout and said, "I think I screwed up." I said, "You can't break F3, so I don't think you screwed up. What'd you do?" And he said, "Well, I emailed Dark Helmet about coming to the Anvil, and he said yes." Okay. What's the Anvil? When is it? And what are we doing? And so that launched this crazy 2-month sprint to get a really hard workout based around the third F. So he is very, very focused on the third F and wanted to make sure that the dynamite of F3 that makes F3 was being put forefront. And so he wanted to design a workout around the third F. And so we did it. We did 4 iron packs and 4 rucks last year. It happened to be one of the hottest days of the year, July 13th last year. Everybody remembers that day. It was an important day in our country. But the point being is it was the day Trump got shot. That's why. So that's why I remember it. But July 13th, we did it. Dark Helmet was there. We launched our Adult and Teen Challenge site that day as well. And we had hundreds of guys running around doing crazy stuff on one of the hottest days of the year. But what we found out was this kind of cycle from workout to ruck to workout to ruck. And our rest break between iron packs workouts was our ruck. But that was also where we were talking and communicating. We broke up into small groups and had real in-depth discussions about what's going on in life. A lot of shield locks were formed, a lot of whetstone blade relationships were formed, and a lot of men went farther in their F3 journey because they leaned into that faith component, which is what's going to make your life better. And remember, it's not any faith other than believing in something more than yourself. And so these men from different faith backgrounds, from different relationship backgrounds, from different pasts, got together, leaned in, and really listened and talked about what was important to them. This year, it's focused around the concentrica. So we have 4 rucks and 4 workouts, with the final workout just being a smaller workout, but it's a family workout. And in that family workout, my wife is actually helping me lead it. She's a sergeant major in the Army, and she wants to do something fun for the family. So that's going to be a little short workout, leads into a picnic right after. But 3 iron packs quality workouts, 4 rucks, and then a family workout to finish it off, all centered around M2.0's shield locks and whetstone blade. So
I want to go off into a tangent for just a second.
Sure.
But one thing I love about Power Clean is it doesn't give him 5 minutes and he's going to brag about his M. every time, every time. And I hope we all do that. Honestly, I think that's the way he's kind of inspired me to make sure I brag about my M a lot more. But thank you for
Well,
that.
your M's pretty amazing. I remember last
Geez.
year we were together. By the way, Huck is an amazing guy. I need to tell you this. You already know this, but invited us up to Boise. So we live in middle of America. We went to Boise last year. Two guys that I do a lot of work with, one in my shield lock, and we went up, ran a marathon. Happened to be my first marathon. Happened to be his race. It was amazing. Had great hospitality. Love the city of Boise. So if you ever have an opportunity, PAX listening here, and you're not already in Boise, get to Boise. The F3 is great. The city's great. It's super fun. And run a race. He runs a couple of them every year. So have fun.
October 11th is the one's coming up. We got 2,000 people showing up. You guys, you come down range. Let me know. You got a free race entry. We'll at least get you in there. I can't pay for the airfare and the hotel bills and all that, but certainly we'll get you in there. I don't know if I offer that to Power Clean. All right. So seriously, how did you and I, I'm an energy guy, and I'm gonna back up just one thing, and I'm gonna try to come into this question if I remember. Dark Helmet and Dread and the Plague on the Whetstone today. It dropped it this morning. Talk about faith, and they talk about guys hit him up. Dark Helmet's certainly in his personal life very religious. Dread in his personal life is very religious. Plague is his personal life, but F3 is not. F3 is not specific. You mentioned you found faith maybe 5 years ago, and I don't go to
leaned into
church.
my faith 5 years ago. Yeah.
I don't go to church, and my father was a Southern Baptist preacher, and parents met at Bob Jones University. That's some deep stuff, but I don't. But people hit us all the time, either whether we're too religious or not religious enough, and we are just dancing across that line all the time. Where do you stand?
So I stand on we're right where we need to be, because I came from no faith background, chose my faith background again, another from Lube actually, but became a Christian, we'll call it 10 years ago, leaned into my faith with F3. But the greatest thing about F3 is I don't need to know who you are to be a better person, right? My job in leaning into my fellow PAX in F3 is not to make them a Christian. My job is to make them a better person so that they go forth and do great things in their community where they're at and bloom where they're planted, regardless of their religion. Now, I love our faith component because it just means you can't believe that you're the center of the universe, because then why do F3? Because why make your fellow man better if everybody should be trying to make you better? Eliminates the need or the ability to be selfish is what the faith component does. And we in the St. Louis area, at least what I did in Jeffco when I was in the Antan, we focused on Q source, building up leadership, building up our community. So our faith component, our third F, was community outreach, was giving, was leadership development, was all the things that don't fit into the fellowship or the first F. And it all kind of falls on the third F. And we, a lot of guys find a faith or at least a better way to be through F3, but it's not a requirement. So I think we're right. I think we're dancing on that line perfectly, myself. And when people say we're not religious enough, I pull the old dread line out and says, okay, what are we going to do? We're not religious enough. That's fine. And that's your feeling, and that's great. And we encourage you to be as religious as you want. And then people say we're too religious. I say, okay, I'm not requiring you to do anything. Like there's no disclaimer about religion. I'm open to all men of all faiths. So there you go. All men of all faiths and of no faith. Just don't believe you're the most important thing in that circle, because there's anywhere from 5 to 20 guys in that circle that are just as, if not more, that day than you. So that's my view. Long answer, short question.
I love when Dredd says, and he uses the church as maybe a metaphor in my mind. He's like, let's stop talking about church. Let's just all get in here and let's sort it out. You can call it whatever you want to, but just let's get in here. Let's get in here and talk, and let's work together. And then maybe we can decide. But if we ain't willing to even get together in the first place, then that will never happen. So call it. I love that. I told you I was going to forget the direction we were heading when I jumped off on this tangent. Where were we going?
So we had talked about the Anvil, based around third F, and we're using third F as again, it's that concentrica, it's the Q source, it's really going second and third level deep into the Q source. We've developed a lot of questions that the group leaders on the rucks are going to ask to prompt good conversations. We spent as much time, actually more time, building the third F component to this CSOP than the first F. And that is huge. It's open to, obviously, just like anything else in F3, it's free. It's open to all men. We want you to bring your families. It's not too late to sign up. We have a picnic after for kids and spouses. And if you come, maybe bring a side for 10 people or whatever. But let us know. Hit us up on the Jefferson County Slack or Jeffco Slack or the St. Louis Mega Region Slack.
I'm just glad you messed up, not me this time.
Man, it's so
you can't keep it straight. I definitely can.
But also you could hit me up personally on the Nation Slack. The Q of the event is Airhead, our former Nantan, the guy who handed it off to me. He's the Q of the entire event. But here's what really is striking about this year is we wanted to make this a regional event. And when I say regional, I mean not just Jeffco, but I mean the biggest of regions, a sector event, a nation event, because everybody's invited along with your family. St. Louis is a neat place to visit. We realize it's after a lot of schools have started. It just worked out this year to most of the participants that were leading it could be there this weekend. But the point is that we want to get these convergences, get these people together, cross-pollinate, mingle, learn people in other places. And you asked kind of earlier where we met before we kind of went on a tangent. And we met at a Grow Rock event.
Oh Lord, let's bring that up. Let's bring that up.
So that's exactly what it is. But we met at a Grow Rock event, and we weren't at our best. Ever are at a Grow Rock event.
Let me say this, and I've talked about that. I've talked this a little bit. I went down to Katy, Texas with my entire shield lock. Wooderson, Tater, Gopher. We all went down there for a couple guys from the shield lock from us. But we went down there and got through the majority of the night. And I just had an episode, man. I have these from time to time. I get frustrated with the life. I get frustrated with the world. And I just want to take it all on. And then I ended up with a couple of babysitters that night. And Power Clean was the biggest of them all, for sure. I went after the other two first, I think. I was picking and I never got to Power Clean. I think Motorboat calmed me down a little bit. And I appreciate you. I know when I'm at my worst, I want to be surrounded by the best. And that night I was. And so if that's going to happen to you, and that's happened to me before, and that might be the first time I was surrounded by such supportive guys who just dealt with me in that situation. And what was that like? Let's go into that. Talk about that.
So that was my trainer academy. So before we had the Leadership Academy, which is part of Freedom Ops, we had the Trainer Academy, and it was taught by, get this, it was taught by Italian Job, Dark Helmet, Dread, and Slaughter. And then Danny was there as the QC. So, I mean, those five guys.
Tip of spear guys.
Right. The guy who wrote the books teaching us QSource, the guy who has led the nation, led a ton of Grow Rocks with Slaughter and Doa. And I mean, these guys. So for me, it was like I was surrounded by my heroes, right? And then you end up in this position that we are actually being trained to handle. And so I have a lot of background in deconfliction, but I was really thinking that I was going to have to pin Huckleberry to the ground, and we didn't ever come to that. But I could feel where you were, because I never want to be judged for my worst moments. So there was no judgment. What it was concern and a lot of wishing, in my case, that it's just like, come on, snap out of it. And we get there, man. I had been there in my life, due to, whatever has gone on in my past. And so I'm never going to judge a man for his worst day. And thank God we were able to resolve it, become best friends. And, my best friend from the Army originally, this is a funny story. If I'm chewing gum for too long, my jaw will start to click, because that's how we met. He's got a right cross that is probably to this day still Still,
It's just-
yeah, but that's how we met, and we became best friends. And I was actually talking to him this morning before this, because we're still tight 30 plus years later. And it's because we learned the measure of the man, and we were standing tall at the end of it. And that's how I feel we met in some way. Is I met the measure, and I was like, yep, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere, and you can't do anything about it. And at the end of it, I'm still going to love you. And
I think,
that's
and
it.
so when Power Clean says he's going to love you no matter what, and there's nothing you can do about it, I can attest to that, because I certainly was unlovable for a moment, and he continued to love me. And let's talk about that. So I love energy, and here I am, thousands of miles away from you, and here we've met in Katy, Texas. You and I then went to Roanoke, Virginia, and sat
We
around a
did.
campfire. For a couple hours together, and got to really get to know the man. And then you came out here to Boise, and then next thing I know, here we are on SLT together. Like, this is spanning 5 years. I keep running the same guy. And that's, I don't know what you believe in life, but man, when you run into the same guy in these circumstances that many times, and you can say F3 is a small world all you want to, it ain't that small. And so how do you keep running into that same guy over and over? And how do you, like, you just know you're supposed to somehow work together, I guess. Uh, how
I
did
think
that
it's
happen?
ordained personally. And with you, you're such a big personality. There's not a single person in F3 doesn't know who you are. Um,
The beard helps. The beard
the
helps.
beard helps, but
You should see
funny
that
story.
we have it's dark here, and they start the numberama with me because they can always see the beard in the light, and then it's glowing at night. So anyway,
That's perfect. Well,
that
it's not
helps.
just the beard. It's because you're passionate and you love F3 and you're willing to stand in and do the
Go
hard work
on.
to anybody.
And I'm good
And that's
looking.
it.
Go
That's
on.
what it is.
Keep going. Don't stop. Keep it coming. Come on.
Yeah. You're willing to stand and do the hard work. Most people aren't. That's a uniquely F3 thing, which is why I'm so passionate about it, which is why when Dark Helman asked me to do head of sectors, my first thing was I will do it on one condition is don't limit me.
Mhm.
I'm going to take this in a different direction, and here's my vision. I actually, to be honest, at first said no, and then he had to convince me. And then I said, okay, if you want me to do this, I'm going to do it this way. And then I figured out the vision, and then I went back to him, and I actually flew to Charlotte to make sure we were on the same page. And the mission, the passion I have is to create this structure for 100,000 men that will hold millions of men. So I don't want to interfere in region business. I don't want to do anything like that. I want regions to be able to reach up to the sectors and the nation and go, hey, man, I know this has probably been done somewhere in the nation, and somebody be able to come back down with, yep, here's the resource, or yep, we've never done it, but let's walk through it together and turn the sectors into a support network. And, I think I said it on the nation call. We're putting the Christmas tree up, and we're making a lot of branches, and we're growing a big tall tree because there's a lot of ornaments that are going to go on this tree, and the regions of the ornaments. And it's where the work gets done. It's where the men are changed. It's in those individual workouts where the men are changed. So anything I can do, anything the sector team can do, the growth team, what we can do to grow F3 so that we're changing the world, because the men are going to change the world. F3 is just going to change the men. It's a big ask, and we need a lot of support. So, that's what we're doing. We're building. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to apologize up front. If I haven't gotten back to you, or I got back to you and said I would get back to you again and I haven't yet, do me a favor. Send me an email again, powerclean@f3nation.com, powerclean@f3nation.com, because I want your help. Regardless, we did send out to everybody that emailed me, at least I think everybody that emailed me after the State of the Nation, we did send out kind of like a little survey Google Doc just to find out a little bit about you. So if you got that email, it would have come from Justin Holland, Winger. If you would have got that email and didn't respond to it, please do go back, find it, or send me an email and say, I got the email, I deleted it, whatever. It's a Google form. What we're trying to do is just get a little information so we can plug you in the right place, put you in the right seat on the bus. We want you on the bus. We just got to find the seat for you. And so I was going to do calls individually with people. So there's 3 people I still owe calls to. And we'll get those done hopefully in the next week or so, get you on the bus. So that's
Behind the
my
scenes, Behind the scenes, I'll tell you, Power Clean has the toughest job. I know I cannot keep up with all the emails coming into me and the Slack requests or the Facebook, Instagram. But secretly, I every time you hear me say, "Don't forget to email Power Clean at F3 Nation," man, I know, or sectors at F3 Nation, I know he's swamped, and I just want to keep pouring them in. Like I just, it's funny for me to do that.
Oh, I'm glad it's funny for you.
it kind of is. So keep spamming them, guys. Keep spamming. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Okay, so guys, and let me back up. I think a little bit. I think, a guy shows up at 5:15 in the morning. And I hear the conversations that take place, and I'm in that moment and I'm present and I'm dealing. These are my brothers, and when I move, these are the guys going to help move my truck. But when I jump out and I put on the big hat, that one over there, for the nation, it's a completely different conversation. And a lot of guys will go the route of, well, how does this apply to me? This doesn't apply to me. What do I need the nation level for? And so we get into that discussion a little bit, but then we have these other guys who see it, who see the need for a little bit more of the structure in a decentralized organization. We created the mess. Let's make it decentralized and let's try to put some centralization in it. And it's a natural conflict. How do you, I mean, you have to be navigating those waters. How is that?
So that is sort of those first men that say, what does the nation do for me? It's not about you. It's about the men. It's about the men who haven't been reached yet. And you may be happy in your 10-person workout, and don't want anybody new, want to keep going to the same Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever. And you will always be able to do that. Love having you, love you supporting F3, love you getting in the gloom, love you building your life better. As long as you're doing that, you're doing something. The mission is to plant, grow, and serve. So what we do is we plant new AOs, new workout groups, we grow them, and then serve them. What we're doing, you and I, Huck, we're serving every man in F3 and all the men that aren't in F3 yet. But we have to grow, and then we have to split, and we have to grow new AOs, and we have to continue to metastasize. In Boise, we grow. In St. Louis, we grow. In Katy, we grow. In Charlotte, we grew. All of these places, and Omaha, and all the cities, Phoenix, Albuquerque, heck, we're growing all over Central Texas. We're growing everywhere. And it is amazing. And that's the mission. The mission is to grow so we can change the men, and then they go for to change their communities. And from the bottom up, just like what we're doing now here in F3, from the region level, we're changing the world. From the city level, from the school board level, from the county council level, from wherever, we are changing the world. From you being involved in your kids' school, even we all put so much pressure on ourselves, and we're going to drop some plates. So if we put the plates in the right order and make sure we never drop the M plate or never drop the kid plate, everything else gets dropped a little bit. That's fine. My job as the sector Q is to hammer that mission home and provide a structure so that when you do split, or that when you do grow, or when you call your buddy that you haven't seen since college and say, hey, I do this thing called F3, is there one near you? And he says, no, there's not, but he really likes it and wants to do it, that he can call somebody and we can get him set up. So that's what I am passionate about, is the individual man. But if we have 100,000 men basically now, if we're at 1 million men, can we handle it? I don't think we can. So I'm planning for 1 million men. We just launched a sector in the UK. They're fired up. They only have 22 AOs. Is that big enough for a sector? Yes. You know why it is? Because they're growing like crazy and they're launching into Europe. They are the front lines to Europe, and we're going to change the world by changing Europe. We're going to change the UK. We're changing the United States, and we're changing your small town, big city, whatever. We're changing it one man at a time. And anything I can do to facilitate that change is what I'm doing. So we're building some structure. So we're getting more sector queues. You're going to have area queues. You're going to have growth queues. You're going to get more information from the nation, but the nation is going to receive more information from you, because good ideas flow through the reverse flow incubator. That means from you guys to us. We have ideas. I have ideas, but I'm trying to do the things I've heard from good men that I trust first. One of them is, making a better resource so that when you go to the website, or if we determine another website and you click on what do I do to start a region, There's a playbook. We're building the playbook. There's playbooks all over the place. We're going to try to get them all together. So if you're one of those guys that has a repository of a playbook that you've used, send it to us. Sectors at F3 Nation. Send it to us because we're going to use that. We're going to incorporate that and we're going to build on it. But we want one central repository of information. So when I'm gone, that the next guy can lead from that space. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. We don't have to recreate the wheel 100 times. Let's create it once. Let's refine the wheel. And that's what we're trying to do, is just provide that good information, that good communication, and dare I say it again, structure. And the structure isn't to limit anybody. It's so that you can launch and do amazing things. I'm not telling you what AOs you need to have. I'm not telling you what days you need to do, although multiple day AOs make sense. And I can have that argument with you in 100 different ways. But, star fishing after so many AOs in a region, because the Nantan, I found it, my job as a Nantan was to know my people, to love my people. That was it. And my people were all the packs. We had AOQs that we spoke to, but my job was to know the people. And I treated it more like Papa Smurf than anything. Papa Smurf cared about everybody. If you're old like me, you remember who the Smurfs were. But that was my vision, is to be Papa Smurf. Now I have 500 Papa Smurfs out there that are trying to do their best thing. I'm trying to support the Papa Smurfs now. So it's amazing.
I found I hate when I let go of something and another guy takes it over, because every time that dude, and it happens in F3, does a better job than me, and I can see it. I can see it, and he's doing a better job than me, so it is humbling. We just got speaking of we just got an AO site queue manual. Camo sent that over to us. So good. And I want to emphasize, what he said is we're not providing structure for the sake of structure. It's more in my mind, is communication. Like, there's no such thing as a good idea or bad idea. There's just ideas. And we'll just send them all in. And we just love new ideas. Don't get hung up. So that's the direction you want to head. Send it to sectors. I hear a theme come up, and it's like, so I want to jump into a leadership position, but I don't have control. And so we lack control because these aren't real jobs. But what I think is lacking is people miss out on the opportunity of influence. Dread has no control over me. Dark Helmet has no control over me, but he has a significant amount of influence, and it's the influence that is powerful. Do you see that develop in the leadership of F3? Of what guys have more influence versus more control? What is it? What do guys need to have?
This role has tested me in a lot of ways, because I thought I was influential. I thought I could, make my will be understood, at least, if not done. What I truly have realized is that in F3, so I was a senior non-commissioned officer in the Army for a long time, led people overseas, led people here. I run a small business, so I lead people there. But the point being is, I thought I had decent leadership, and then I joined F3. I realized I didn't, because leadership in F3 is about the influence. Exactly what you said. It's being able to come up with a vision. Again, I'm going right Q source. Being able to articulate the vision. So explain it. Explain what your vision is. Persuade others to get on board with your vision. That persuasion, that influence. It's what I said when I took over as Nantan, was all the responsibility and none of the power. All of the responsibility and none of the power. There is no power to it. What it is, like you said, influence, persuasion. And people will stay in that job or continue or start that role because they love the leader, they love the mission, and they want to grow. Those three things. And I believe that I have a gift in helping people understand how my passion for them growing and the mission allowing them to get that space to grow is what they really want. And sometimes that's a little bit of persuasion, or as we've said Dark Helmet's name a lot, but Dark Helmet has this kind of tendency to say, okay, you've got 30 days, figure it out. I don't do that, but I remember when GMO used to be, still is, we're just super tight, but he was my whetstone for a long time, and I can't think of, life without having him in it. Right. But he was the Nantan of St. Louis when I asked him to be my whetstone, and he said, I'm about to change out. I got to do this role. And he was the first head of sectors. And Dark Helmet said, you got 30 days, figure it out. And so ever since then, I've been using a little bit more pressure, because the most reasons people will say no is because they don't think they have the ability to do the job, or they don't understand the job. They're not saying no because they don't want the job. And so I was able to, as Nantan, and I've been doing it as the sector head of sectors, is, hey, I really need you in this position, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why you're the right fit. So I'm influencing them and persuading them to do the job, and then because I see it in them, and that's the joy of what I get to do now. So the difficulty in what I get to do now is I want people from all over the world to be in this organization, specifically the sectors organization, and I don't know people from all over the world. So if I don't know you yet and you email me, we'll get to know each other. We'll jump on a WhatsApp call if you're overseas, or we'll jump on a call if you're in the US, and we'll have a conversation, because we need to help. And the reason we need to help is because we're growing, we're tripling in size of team, and we kind of don't have personnel costs. At least there's some costs associated to it, but those are so minor that we want to make sure that as many people as want to lead and are able to lead can lead.
Be the simple job description of a sector Q.
So I'm not necessarily asking for sector Qs, but there's a lot of people on those teams. But sector Qs job description is, helping to build the structure of the sector so that men will unlock and follow the mission of F3. So our job is to support the structure and grow it, create it now, so that the men of F3 can do the mission, which is to plant, grow, serve small workout groups for men. And that there's no impediment like, hey, I've been emailing this email address for 6 months and I've never gotten any response. Well, if we get enough people on the team, that will never happen again. And it has been happening just because we just have so many people requesting and not enough people on the other side. So we break that up, we spin that out, and we do, what am I trying to say? We break that bottleneck up a little bit by adding some people with capacity to it. The other thing is anybody that's interested in helping out the sector level, we want to make it fun. We want us to be enjoyable to be around and not stressed out all the time. We want you guys to understand that helping people grow is amazing. It is probably one of the most important things you'll ever do. It's like raising kids, but you don't have to do the diaper phase.
The fun for me is the networking. Man, when you get to meet guys like Lube, man, in multiple arenas, and to see the work he's out there doing in the world, it just inspires you to go out there and do more. That's
I
the fun
agree.
part
He's an
for me.
amazing man.
Yeah, that's the fun part for me. So I think my role, moving forward to the next 6 months, I want to make sure I highlight who the sector Qs are in
Okay.
local areas, and what's the best way to do that? I know people know me. I know people get on Slack and they'll shoot me an email, but really, honestly, we need more resources out there and point them in the right directions.
So we're building those as we go. We're changing the tires on a car rolling 55 miles an hour. So I apologize that more communication hasn't come out. We're still putting the right people in the right places, but sector Qs. We've got Heidi in the Southeast. Oh goodness, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
Matt
we'll have to
Dean's
edit
in the
this out.
Northeast.
You're gonna forget somebody, and then you got lots of planning to do.
I guarantee I'm forgetting people. But we
I
just
can hear
broke
Tinkerbell.
up.
I can hear Tinkerbell yelling now, right now. I can hear him yelling.
No, Tinkerbell is is changing. So I'll let him break that news. But Tinkerbell's moving on to this head of sectors team to kind of take a very specific role that he is so perfectly suited for. It's amazing. But so right now it's Tinkerbell, but we're breaking up sectors. We have Oatmeal in Texas and the South Central. We've got Eagle in Albuquerque, and he's actually doing the Southwest and the mountain sectors. We're looking for sector Qs, former Nantans, former Weasel Shakers, people that kind of get the mission and are passionate about continuing that mission in the Northeast and the California area. Bring it on. give me a call. That is the sector Q spot I need. Plus, we're breaking up North Central, we're breaking up South Central, and we're going to break up the Northeast. North Carolina and South Carolina are individual sectors unto themselves right now. So those are probably as broken up as they're going to get. But also, when you come on the sectors team, and I say that as a team, the growth queue, the LDP queue, the comms queue, the weasel shaker of the team, you guys are on a team to work. Now, the work is fun. So I believe in working meetings. I don't believe in meetings where I just can disseminate information, because that can be done
So
on
podcasts are for.
an email or a podcast or a polo or anything like that. But I want men that are ready to work, ready to put in some time on their own, also in group and team. So yeah, and then the UK actually is a sector as well. That's Mr. Freeze, and he's building a team over other side of the pond. Did you say you're gonna get to the UK sector sometime soon?
December 2nd. I'm gonna take a little holiday and go check out some AOs over there.
All right,
Shredder, Flea.
Say hi, Shredder, Mr. Freeze, Homer, Crackit. Oh man, so many guys over there. Obviously, Flea. So many guys over there that are just doing the work of F3, and I talked to
I love
Mr.
that
Freeze
energy.
yesterday
I love that
about how
energy.
they're growing. How they're growing is they're growing in their suburban areas. So I think we've hit a niche to start the growth in the suburban areas and then move in to the cities from there. Because St. Louis is a big city, but really the suburban areas are where we exploded. And then, another thing you probably don't know, we have a new nation's growth queue. That is Vanilla Ice. You know that, Huckleberry, but Vanilla Ice. So Vanilla Ice at f3nation.com. If you have any growth questions, Vanilla Ice at f3nation.com. He may say, hold one, I'll get back to you. But he is figuring it out. He's passionate about it. We're also changing from expansion to growth because we believe growth encompasses more than just planting mayo. Planting mayo.
Is that what used to be troubadours, mustard seeds, and then now we're expansion, now we're growth? Is that on the same path?
Kind of. Expansion was what Beans did. Amazing, successful, and it's amazing. Let's put it that way. We have so many people sending requests in. But the reason I just changed the name from expansion to growth, because I believe the biggest part of growth is making sure it sticks. Expansion, we're here to support from afar. Growth, hey, how can we continue to get you resources until it sticks? So that we've seen is anywhere from 9 months to a year. And then mentorship. So the growth guys, it's new Nantan. Okay, what's an SLT? What's a shared leadership team? Why do you need one? I've only got 6 guys working out, 1 AO. Doesn't matter, shared leadership team, right? Building out that capacity so that when you do split AOs and when you do grow, you have the men there to grow it. So all of those things are things that we'll take on as the growth side. That first initial piece, which is part of the LDP process. And then I'll let Tinkerbell talk about the role when you talk to him. But what he's planning on doing kind of from that 9 months to 1 year on, and creating the teachers that are gonna coaches and teachers and mentors that are gonna lean in across the nation, across the world for all these guys. So that's another exciting avenue. So I'm doing about 17 things all at once, because moderation is not my friend.
I love it. All right, we're at the 45-minute mark. I know I'm going to try to keep these a little tighter, and then we'll get you back on here to talk more as we go along. Anything I should have asked you, didn't ask you, wish I would have asked you?
No, man. You let me talk, and I have so much to say that I apologize to everybody that if I got discombobulated in any of it, or if you're confused. But there's an email out there, sectors@f3nation.com, that you can send your questions to.
Please, everybody send an email today.
And what we'll do is we'll at least attempt to get back to you. That goes to a group of people, and you'll get back from Olaf, myself.
It's a funnel. I heard it's a funnel is what it is. It's
Yeah.
a new concept I'm learning. Homework. And Power Clean, I don't know if you've heard In Cadence's podcast at the 40-minute mark where they talk about, my gosh, you turn into a whiskey drinking.
You're 100% a shandy drinking southerner.
Shanty. I don't know what they are. The most polite guys over there. They even make fun of each other in the nicest ways. So I'm interested to hear the mumble chatter that they come up with.
Yep.
I hang out with some boys in Boise that, man, they just, I don't know, man, they'll tear you a new one. So I'm interested to hear the English barbs. The other thing is, I was watching a Joe Rogan episode last night. I know we talk about being on Joe Rogan. Man, he interviewed a guy yesterday, I think it was, and that dude doesn't have like he's like he's not like he only has like not many subscribers on YouTube. And so I would ask, and even if you don't watch our YouTube channel, if you could go to that YouTube and just subscribe, get us a little bump in that algorithm. I know it's dumb, but it is how the way that it works and the media works. And if this guy can go in there and he's rewriting history and some things, I like to think we are too. I like to think we are absolutely changing the world with what we're doing. And I want to be on that same stage. And if that means all you got to do is go click a little like button on YouTube, by God, help a brother out. Go do that for us. Don't even watch it, except that Cardinal video's out now. And if you haven't seen that Cardinal video, it's a pretty compelling. It was unlisted for a while, now it's public. But Power Clean, thanks for coming on. Got to get you in here a lot. All right, brother. I'm gonna hit. Stay tight. I'm gonna hit some music and hit some buttons and all the things.
You're 100% a shandy drinking southerner.
I'm your Huckleberry.